Hello, have you a very good afternoon? My name is Luis Fernando Pareja, and this is Language Curriculum Development, Step 5. To begin with, I want to remember the core of the problem. It is teaching English pronunciation by intuition and repetition. It is an approach that has been developed during many decades, but it has not proved to be the best method to teach. So my proposal is to try to fill the pronunciation gap between English and Spanish by using analytical linguistics, simple tools like articulatory charts or virtual dictionaries. To begin the process with my students, I had to invent something to attract the attention of the students. My original students are very difficult people. I am a teacher in a high school, in a public high school here in Medellin. So this kind of processes would have been too much difficult with this kind of population. So I had to call the attention of my colleagues, the other teachers. And how could I hook them? Very easily. I had to invent a resource tool like this. This is a survey and it's very simple. It has 15 questions and only have yes or no answers. So it's very easy. And which are the questions? For example, do you know what phonetics is? From 16 teachers, 14 answered yes, we know English phonetics. But when later in the same survey I asked them, do you know what is a virtual phonemic chart? 15 from 15 didn't know what an articulatory chart is. So it is not logic that someone thinks or believes that knows English phonetics without having used any time an articulatory chart. To demonstrate them that they need it, I showed them the results and they could get interested in the program. Some of the resources that later I implemented with them is, for example, this articulatory chart, because this simple tool is bringing the point of articulation, if it is bilabial, labiodental, interdental, alveolar, or the mode of articulation, if it is voice, it is a stop or fricative or affricate or a nasal, and the voicing, if it is voiceless or is voiced. So this is a tool very useful to teach people to pronounce a good English. Another resource is related to vowels. This is the triangle of vowels. And it is too much important because, as we well know, in English, there are many more vowels than in Spanish. And it is important to remember remember to the students that in English there are stressed sounds like E, similar to Spanish, closed and frontal, E. But parallel to that, there is an E relaxed. So, E, E. The same with the U sound. In Spanish, we have U, rounded lips. But in English, there is also a kind of U different. It is U. It is the same that this U, but with the spread lips. U, rounded lips. U, spread lips. And the same kind of explanation is repeated for the other sounds. So before stress E, like in Spanish, a relaxed E in English. E, E. And this is the triangle of vowels, too much useful to teach students to pronounce the vowels, you know. And the third important resource I had to use was this. This is a phonemic chart. These are the real sounds of English. In Spanish, we have 46 sounds. In English, we have 44 sounds. And it is different to spell than pronounce. For example, here we see this symbol. As a letter, it is pronounced W. But here it is not a letter, it is a sound. And it is as a sound, it's pronounced bo. Bo. You listen that. Then how to understand the pronunciation? Very simple. We come to the articulatory chart and we see the symbol here. And this is a very special sound because it begins with the point of articulation, a bilabial point of articulation, but then it finishes in another point of articulation as a velar sound, begins bilabial and finishes a velar sound, boah. So these are tools very important to give solution to the problem. To present some conclusions about their implementation and analysis. After implementation and analysis, it can be concluded that students change their attitude towards the pronunciation. Before training, they believe they have good pronunciation. And suddenly, out of a sudden, now they discover they need to learn pronunciation at deeper level using technical resources and the very basic theory relating sounds and speech. Another consequence, important, is that they have learned to use the dictionary to be able to know the meaning of the word, to listen the pronunciation, but even much more important, to watch at the phonetic symbols that give us the sense that we can pronounce similar as it must be, as any should. To present some reflections about the whole process, can I say, I have lived this process paying attention to any opportunity to transmit the main ideas because all teachers do not meet in school to work at the same time. It's not easy having them to teach them. Else, it has been a challenge to educate adult professionals convinced during many years that they speak good English. The main success I have encountered has been the students' pronunciation improvement. It's something magical. It's not the same when the people pronounce believing that it is the pronunciation. Instead, that when they go use a dictionary and discover the real pronunciation of a word. To present a report about the development of this course and how it has contributed to the research process, I can say that the development of this course has contributed to the research process being conducted in the master's program by equipping the necessary theoretical knowledge, practical skills, and research methodologies to investigate pronunciation issues. It has generated a deeper notion of how pronunciation affects language learning, communication, and overall language proficiency, thus enabling to conduct informed and impactful research. My main research project is teaching English suprasegments. Then this course allowed me to advance into my master's development. It has been a pleasure to develop this course. Thank you so much for your attention. Bye, bye, bye.